Well, it's... I wouldn't say it was a true outrage.
Really? I don't know. I didn't like it so much.
Yeah. I didn't...
I
Well,
didn't
I
hate
didn't...
it. I didn't like. Well, I didn't super like. It wasn't like one of the worst things I've ever seen, but it's still
Yeah.
bad. It still wasn't. There wasn't really much anything to it at all. Like even like at least the series has something to it. This really didn't. It was just kind of a boring. There's even a lot of cliche lines too, and
Yeah,
it
a
was just a
lot, yeah.
very it was just a very by the numbers band story, and it not only that, but there was a lot of just like simple easy stuff. Like they break up way too easily, and they get
Mm-hmm.
popular way too
Yeah.
easily. Everything just happens way too like one video. They get popular because of one video they do. Like there's they don't, and then everyone like knows all their songs, even though they've only performed like a couple times, and they don't even have an album or anything. Like like they just have like one.
Well, Imagine Dragons became popular before they brought out their first album.
Well, did they at least have like a couple videos or something?
Yeah,
Or
they had concerts.
yeah, they
They only
probably
had like 7 songs out.
yeah. I mean, they probably did more than this did. This is just kind of one song, and then oh, we're popular, and then
Yeah.
we kind of perform a couple times, and everyone loves us. It's just like I don't know. I understand it's the internet can make people popular fast, but it's just I don't know. I felt to me, I just felt it was kind of weird. Also, I felt this movie was way too much in love with YouTube. Like there's way too many scenes where they would cut to YouTube clips and just like
Yeah, it's really distracting. There's no reason to cut to them.
the only
Yeah.
time I kind of liked it was when she was talking to Erica on her computer. That was the only scene I kind of liked it because you could kind of say that she was kind of watching that video at the same time, and it kind of
Yeah.
that was the only time I felt it was work. Everything else just like, why are you? What the heck is going on? Like, is the like because I understand one of the producers for this film was the guy who discovered Justin Bieber, and he discovered him on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I get it that you love YouTube, but it just felt like way too much like YouTube, oh, or like there's just way too many, like there was a lot of product placement too, like Google was every
A
time
lot
they
of
would,
internet product placement.
yeah, it's just I felt like this movie was like I don't know if under I could like there were some points where I guess they were kind of trying to say the internet could do bad too, but it felt like a lot of it was just the internet is amazing or YouTube is the greatest place ever
Mm-hmm.
or something like it
Yeah.
just felt way too much like a lot of that felt like that.
So yeah, it is a really, for what it's worth, it's an origin story, and it's definitely a very cliched origin story. Though, to be fair, when they do break up before the third act, um, Jerica is narrating with with how this the band breakup story has been done millions of times. Well, okay, so the movie's being self-aware.
Yeah, that's nice that
Yeah.
they are being so, but it's still just like just because you're self-aware doesn't you can still try to break the cliche in a different way or something
Yeah.
like that just because you're self-aware. It's just I don't know, just from what I've seen, I've only seen like 2 episodes of the series. I still don't think people of the series are gonna watch this and go, "Wow, they really represented the show I love." Like it's, I think
I don't
they're,
think so
I think,
either.
yeah, if you're a Gem fan, you are not gonna like this movie.
Well, I watched the first 5 episodes before going into this, so I could get an idea of whether or not to recommend this to fans. I'm sort of in the mix here because it definitely will help. The mid-credit sequence will definitely help um, because for those of you who are wondering if the misfits really do appear in the movie, they kind of do. The the uh, the mid credits scene is their introduction and build up to them destroying Jem, which actually does kind of sound like it'll be more of the TV episodes.
Yeah, my only problem is I'm afraid if they do a sequel that they'll just do the same thing they did here, except with like this time they have another band to compete against. I'm
Yeah.
afraid that they're just gonna do the same bland. It's just I don't feel like they really this watching this film. I just never felt like they really cared about the original series. I just watching this movie. I just felt like I was watching like I understand they have to make changes because the original series is a silly '80s has silly '80s cliches, but they could have found a way to make that work in this. But it just it just, for me, it just feels like what I was watching was just a bunch of producers going, then people just watch this for the name recognition alone.
Yeah.
Like, Synergy, I didn't like what they did with Synergy at all. I didn't like, he was just a little robot, and that,
The robot from Earth to Echo.
yeah, and just that, the whole, he barely did anything except for, like,
She.
lead them, sorry, yeah. She barely did anything except lead them to, like, her dad's final will, like, final thing. That was, like, the only thing she really did. Other than that, like, she had no purpose. Like, there's a part where she wasn't even in the thing at all, like, during that whole second act. Like, it's just, like, there's a whole part where she was gone completely. Like, even, I mean, you know, like, where she was already introduced and then she just didn't show up, and then it was just, like, they kind of forgot about her. And also, I guess I also didn't like the boy at all, Rico. I didn't like him at all.
I think it's just Rio.
Yeah, Rio. I didn't care for him at all.
Yeah. So.
But the songs are all right. They're like the only thing I thought were passable, and there's some good humor moments.
Yeah, there actually were more than a few instances that are pretty funny, especially the cameos from Dwayne Johnson and Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I also loved. Juliette Lewis had some good lines. I thought she did well for what she had.
Although,
what she got.
So here's something that, so I think, like I said last week, Eric Raymond is now Erica Raymond in this. She's played by Juliette Lewis. There really was not a reason to make him a woman in this.
Yeah, I don't mind that change if they found a way to, if they found a way to do it. If they found a way, like, I was fine with it when I heard about it. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm just like, man, woman, hopefully they do something maybe with it, but they didn't. She's just kind of the evil lady, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't even think her performance was even it wasn't really even a fun kind of bad. They should have kept him a man and had William Fichtner play him.
That would have been great. I would have loved to see that, but it just, I don't know. My problem with this movie especially is just, I felt like this whole movie was just trying to set up the sequel. Like, I didn't feel like I was watching, they weren't trying to tell a full movie. They were just like, let's get so we can get more sequels out. Like, that's what I felt like watching this film. And like I said, I don't like that it's just a paint by the numbers band film. It could be like, this could be shown on the Hallmark Channel or something, and I wouldn't. It wasn't even shot that great. It was even half, like, there wasn't even full. It wasn't like full screen. It was like halfway through the entire. Film.
Sometimes the theater does show widescreen. But actually, I think this film looks great.
The actress who plays the mom, I think that was Molly Ringwald. I was trying to figure out who that was. I think it's Molly Ringwald or something like that.
Yeah. So as something that obviously takes place, I guess, before the TV series, it doesn't really have enough of the kind of sci-fi adventure vibe that the cartoon had, which they might have more of in the next one.
There is
the whole mystery deal with Synergy, and honestly, Synergy is one of the changes that I could kind of understand, because in the show, Synergy is this computer that changes the appearances of Jem and her sisters.
Well, no, I think it also makes holograms too. She makes holograms as well, but like,
so
it's just, I don't know. I kind of felt the story, like, the thing I didn't like that they also made the dad like just some boring inventor guy who likes music.
Yeah.
I felt it would have been like the whole music struggle thing would have been fine. I would have been fine with the whole with the whole, like, her dad owned the business and she tries to take it over or something.
In the show, though, her dad is dead, so that is something that they kind of get right. And so they don't, at least from the episodes I've seen, they don't really. I don't think her dad's death really plays a lot of a role, and I think they were trying to give it one for something that takes place before the TV series.
Well, kind of, because it still had, like, they didn't find synergy. They found synergy in the TV series. It sort of does take place during. It's supposed to be like a retelling, sort of, in a way, but it doesn't. For me, it didn't really work all that well. I guess from what I've only seen 2 episodes, so. Okay. But from what I've seen, I don't think they really captured the feel, because, like you said, it's kind of like a sci-fi. Even though it has music, it's about musicians and stuff. It still has this nice sci-fi feel to it. But this movie doesn't. It just feels like a boring band film with, like, with a cute little robot that sort of does little itty bitty holograms at the end. like because I felt like that's what they were because she wore the earrings and stuff. I felt like that maybe Synergy was gonna help with their last show and the cool holograms or something like that. But it just kind
Yeah.
of just shut up little, and also the
Well,
band that
Synergy is also kind of an operating system, so there is that. But I guess the reason that that more people were open to like the Ninja Turtles movie last year. That's an origin story, and it's in the sequel we're gonna have fan favorites like Casey Jones and Bebop and Rocksteady. I think the reason that uh, more people were open to changes in that movie, that um, excuse me.
sorry.
The reason that more people were open to changes in that movie is because Ninja Turtles has gone through a lot of adaptations. Jem is basically just this one TV series in the 80s, so for the second version to be this changed, I think that's the reason that Ninja Turtles kind of got fairly warmer reception.
I don't
Yeah.
know, because I still feel that it was more true to the Turtles in that sense. And also, it was an origin story, but like it was still kind of interesting and it felt like a film. It didn't feel like it was, like I said, this one felt like it was trying to set up a sequel,
Yeah.
a more interesting sequel than this. Like, oh, this one could be boring, but the sequel, that'll be much better.
Yeah.
I don't know, like how much, it's just, I don't know. I didn't feel that way.
Well, another thing that it does do more with in the TV series is the double identity theme, and
It did handle that a little better.
even though it's cliched, I think I think some fans of the show might appreciate it since it has since it plays kind of a bigger part in this origin story.
Yeah, but right now, from what I've seen, this movie's not getting very fair reviews. So
Yeah, last
that's
time I
why.
checked, it only has a 21%,
So I'm pretty.
which
So
Ninja
that's
Turtles does too.
well, so that's why I'm pretty sure that I don't think like so far Deception isn't very good. So like not even from the trailer, I'm talking about the movie. Like so far the reception doesn't seem very good. So I don't. So that's why I'm also not a very much on the idea of telling fans of the show to see it. Like I mean I enjoyed the show. I thought it wasn't too bad. Like it's better than most 80s stuff that comes out. Like I think there's some way worse like 80s like what were 80 shows. Like it wasn't as cheesy as I thought it was going to be. Like I thought there was going to be some real cheese in it, and the music also from the show is not that bad. I thought whenever they played music videos, I thought I was going to be fast forwarding through them, but they weren't that. Especially because they're short too. The music videos and the music in this was way too long. Like I was like I didn't hate it. Like it wasn't bad. It wasn't the worst part, and there was even some good directed scenes. Like I like the part where she went solo for a second, only for a second. She only
Yeah,
went solo for a second, and there was the people kind of behind her. That was kind of cool.
yeah,
But other than that, this movie doesn't really have much really great in the way of direction. It's kind of for the most part just by the numbers, cut, shot,
yeah,
boring.
yeah. The closest thing it has to the adventure is the mystery clues with Synergy, but that's about it. So I really don't know whether or not I'd recommend this to Gem fans. I would almost kind of say skip this one and see the next, even though we really know nothing about the next except that the Misfits are going to be in it. And by the way, Kesha is playing Pizzazz.
I don't know if there is gonna be a sequel though, because it doesn't look. We went when we were there. There was barely anybody in the seats. I don't really, and this movie did not get very
Uh,
much advertising at all. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there are people going to see it, and everyone who saw the trailer has been like, "We're not going to
uh,
see it." So I don't even know if this is going to make enough money for them to even warrant a sequel. Because but I mean,
yeah, I don't
Blum
know.
might.
Yeah,
It's just I don't. I just don't feel like Jason Blum, the producer of this film. He's been like trying to make this a movie forever, like
yeah.
trying to get this made, like a dream project or something like that. And I just don't feel his heart was in it. It just there was felt like I felt this movie has no heart to it. It's just kind of by it's just like money, just recognizable name. Let's set the sequel by just that's what it felt. That's what it felt to me. I mean, and also like the line, like especially the ending line where she's like, "We're your Jem and your Jem and your Jem." She even says like I forgot what the last line after that she says, which is like, "Shut up."
Yeah.
And like I think like the first part that like the beginning wasn't so bad. The only part that bugged me at the beginning was the part where her mom makes them stop and makes them hum. I'm like, ugh, that's kind of. And then like another part, even like after that, I wasn't being so bugged. And then there was the scene. Then they sang in the dock. That part bugged me. And then after that, I was just kind of bored through half of it. And then there'd be a scene like, and then bored again. But I don't.
Here's something that I think is another thing that has scared off fans. It's the fact that Christy Marks, the show's writer, didn't know that this movie was being made. John M. Chu started it without her acknowledgement. So,
well, I think Jem was toys first. She rewrote the show.
Yeah, this is Hasbro.
They were toys first, so I think like she just sort of wrote the comic and like with the animated and the show and stuff. She didn't actually like create Jem herself, though. I think that was like Hasbro, or at least from what I've heard, because I saw a thing about it.
Another product placement, My Little Pony appears in this.
Yeah, that was kind of.
Although I liked the one in Age of Extinction better, where that guy transforms a My Little Pony into a gun. That's like what every 8-year-old boy always wanted to do. Okay, well, I can't say everyone. Like, I'm getting impatient toward gender stereotyping, but whatever. So, considering some of the technical aspects, I think this film does look great, but like you said, there's too many there's too many instances of jumping to YouTube videos, and also the part where they're singing under the pier, that was obviously dubbed.
Yeah, did any of them actually sing? I mean, another thing I did kind of like, I liked the chemistry between the girls. They had good chemistry.
Yeah,
they're all good actresses.
Yeah.
It's just the problem is that they don't have anything to really work with the script.
Yeah.
And I guess John M. Chu's, I don't think John M. Chu is a bad director at all, but it's like he can only really do choreography and like some music video stuff. That's about it. He's not really cut out for like a movie where people just kind of stand around and talk, really.
Yeah.
So I don't think there'll ever be like a scene from this movie that I remember fondly. I'll only remember like stuff that really like made me cringe for the most part. But
it does have some good humor, though. I mean, I will be remembering some pretty funny parts from this,
like,
and I will.
The name, I think like the funniest thing is definitely the name of the Valet's band, Valley of the Damned. That is just great. I guess another thing that kind of bugs me too is that like there's like a whole thing. We love rock music, but like, what rock music do you like? It seems like this whole movie is just filled with pop music. I didn't hear any rock music for the most part.
One thing I would go back for is the song "Alone Together." That was a good song.
Yeah, I didn't hate the music for the most part. That was fine.
Except for that one in the first act that says the word "me" over and over. It's a song that's even more self-centered than Beaker from the Muppets.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's what is it? That's an actual like. That's not actually from the movie though. That's an actual. I've heard that song in commercials and stuff.
Yeah, but all right.
But I still wouldn't buy this soundtrack though. I'd just go. I mean, and this movie isn't like. Yeah, I was really like there would be parts where this movie where I'd be feeling like this isn't so bad, but then it would just do something where I didn't care for. I'm like, eh. I just didn't. I just feel the series is just at least it's kind of goofy. Like it's goofy, but it's like kind of fun in that way. But this isn't so much. I just feel that I don't know. Also, I mentioned that one of the producers of this was the guy who discovered Justin Bieber.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Which I never understand, like, why they advertise this from the director of Never Say Never. Like, Justin Bieber's popularity has kind of gone away. I don't think mentioning that movie is going to make people really care.
Yeah, I would have mentioned Step Up 2 and 3. I mean, this movie kind of begins the same way that the Step Up movies do, with people on videos talking about what music means to them. like music in place of dance, which, yeah.
So I don't think I really have much else to say, but
I don't think I really do either, but, so yeah, I didn't love this movie, but I didn't hate it either. There were a few fun moments for me. There were a few things that I think fans of the show might appreciate, but other things that they won't at all. But I'm gonna give it a C plus.
I'm gonna give this probably a C. It's not. I really don't think, like, even if you say that Jem's fans might go something, but I think for the most part, I think they're not gonna like this movie, and I don't think anyone, like, even if you have, like, it, especially if you haven't seen the series, I don't think you're gonna like this so much either, unless of course you like boring, like, about cliched movies about bands or something like that. Other than that, it's just like it was based, for the most part, it was basically what the first trailer advertised, a boring band movie, except they add some robot sort of, and who's kind of there for a second. It doesn't really do much except for, like, lead them to their dad, and then really weird YouTube cuts and places that is kind of weird. So I'm just gonna give this like a C.
All right, so I think the only new trailer we had was Miss You Already.
We had Miss You Already and Ratchet and Clank.
And Ratchet and Clank, yeah.
Miss You Already looks. I kind of want to see it. I mean, because I don't think the director's a bad. I don't think she did Twilight in 13.
Yeah. Catherine Hardwicke. Yeah.
She's not a bad director. I just don't. She hasn't really. It's just that she did, of course, Twilight and Red Riding Hood, which are movies that I know a lot of people say they don't like. I mean, I don't like Twilight all that much, but. And I never saw Red Riding Hood, but she also did things that I heard were really good, like 13. And I heard good things about the nativity scene. I mean, I know you said you didn't like
Story.
Nativity Story. I heard good things about that one.
Yeah.
But what else? She did some other stuff that I've heard, like, good things about. So that one looks interesting. And Ratchet and Clank, I only want to see that because I love the video games. I just really, and I do think for the most part it's basically the story from the first one, except they're changing a lot of things around. Like, Captain Cork wasn't he's the green muscle guy. He wasn't, like, part of something called the Galactic Rangers. He was sort of by himself, and he even turned out to be kind of a villain because he's a wuss. He's like, because that's his whole trait, is that he's not really a hero. He's a big wuss. And I didn't like what they did to Ratchet either. Like, because that's the whole thing about Ratchet and Clank. It's always like Captain Cork is like, I'm a hero, and Ratchet's the one who actually does everything. So it's just like, who saves the day, and then everyone else gets, like, credit for it, even though Ratchet's the one. Like, but they made Ratchet kind of look like he's an idiot, because there's that scene where he, like, throws the bomb and he blows up on him or something like that. But though I'm kind of like, I don't like what they did to the villain either. Like, the villain in the original game was actually really interesting, but the villain, they're changing him up and making him stupid. I don't know what's going on. Why they're like, because I don't think this trailer. What did you think of the trailer? Sorry, you didn't get your 2 cents.
I don't really know what to think about it.
Yeah, my big problem with the trailer is the editing. Like, it's really fast. It's like, huh? Like, it just goes way, way too fast and just cuts way too fast. Like, that's my only real problem with it. Also, they're adding celebrities too, which I didn't suspect. Because I know this movie's been coming out forever. There was, like, I've known this movie's been hinted at. And there's even a game of the movie based on the game, which is based on a game that's just based on a movie. So it's just coming out. So that's kind of, so I've known this movie's been coming out since forever, and they're also the same guys who are also making a Sly Cooper movie. So it's like, so I'm curious because I've loved the game, so I wanna check it out. I just feel that this trailer was not, but the trailer itself is just too fast, but I'll check it out because I love the games. But
okay.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it. Next week we got Our Brand is Crisis.
That's it?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
All right. And
I think although I think there was also Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Is that next week? Yeah, I think
that
it
could
is.
be. Yeah, because advertising it on PlayStation.
Yeah. Not a lot that I'm looking forward to next week, but following week we got Spectre and the Peanuts movie.
Yay.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.